Hey everyone, Reflected here, and today I want to thank you for all the support I got in the past few years. My YouTube channel just reached 10,000 subscribers and I can't believe it, it's amazing. It really means a lot to me. So I thought this time, instead of talking about missions, campaigns, airplanes, skins, I would introduce myself a little bit so you get to know the guy behind the name.
I was bitten by the aviation bug when I was a small kid back in the 80s. I still remember the first time I saw Top Gun, and my grandpa had all these rubber engine planes. He was a kid when he witnessed the fierce air battles and bombing raids over Hungary, and he told me his stories 100 times. He gave me the first aviation books I read, First and the Last by Adolf Galland, and some others about the legendary Puma fighter wing of the Royal Hungarian Air Force. Back in the 80s, 90s, it wasn't as easy to be an aviation nut as today. Of course, I built model airplanes, and then I got into the first combat flight sims that started to emerge. I spent ages playing Aces over Europe, Aces of the Pacific, then Fleet Defender, Pacific Air War, European Air War, Battle of Britain Wings of Victory, and eventually IL-2 and Rise of Flight. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, but then it turned out I was slightly color deficient. You may be asking, hey, but you're making skins. Yeah, well, I'd like to think that my eyes compensated by developing an ability to differentiate between hues and shades and comparing them pretty well. Anyhow, my life went into an entirely different direction. I started a punk rock band in high school and we played for 10 years touring around Europe. The name of the band was Reflected, so that's why I've always been using it as a forum name and eventually my brand name. The logo, the black and white R reflected vertically, forming a skull, it was the cover art of our very first demo, designed by our bass player. If you're interested, we're still on Spotify, I think. I'll put some links in the video description below. We broke up in 2014 because the music scene in Hungary is just as corrupt as the country itself. From then on, I just played and wrote songs for fun, playing acoustic sets, sometimes alone, sometimes with friends. I finally had some free time, so I decided if I couldn't become a fighter pilot, I can still fly. Therefore, I signed up for gliding lessons, eventually getting the FAI D badge, meaning I flew at least 50 kilometers in distance, gained at least 1,000 meters in altitude, 2,000 actually, and stayed airborne for at least 5 hours, 6 hours 13 minutes exactly. I even got my motor glider extension, so I could fly when the gliding season was over. This is not a lot of flying experience, I know, but it helps me a lot with DCS. And believe it or not, DCS also helped me with real-life flying. My instructors were surprised with my fast progress, even though they were too old school for flight sims. They didn't really believe in them. I also picked up surfing, maybe a little late, at the age of 32, another childhood dream. I grew up listening to the Beach Boys, so I always dreamed about the surfing life while being stuck in a landlocked country. We travel a lot with my wife, who also surfs, going on some amazing trips. I find it a lot like gliding, actually. You need to respect and observe nature. Figure out all the forces around you, how it all works, and if you do, you have fun. If you're not humble, observant, or smart enough, you don't. It's the only way to harness the forces of nature that are much stronger than you are. DCS is everything I ever dreamed of as a kid. The closest you can get to flying combat aircraft, World War II and modern, without actually flying. I got hooked on flying the Mustang back in the day when all you could do was fly patterns on the Caucasus map because of its realism and complexity. The world of DCS kept expanding, and so did the opportunities, so I started setting up scenarios and missions for myself. I had already built a Spitfire campaign in IL-2 called Biggin Hill Wing, but I was amazed how great the DCS mission editor was, quite straightforward, user-friendly, and a lot of tools to work with. Then one day, I bought Bonnie App's Epsom Spitfire campaign, 100% realistic based on original documents. Flying a study-level Spitfire in a study-level historical environment gave me a level of immersion that I had never experienced before. I realized that This is my idea of fun. This is how I want to play DCS. So in late 2019, I decided to give it a go and build my own campaign based on all those books and memoirs that I've read about World War II aviation. So, Blue Nose Bastards of Botany was born. It was rough before all these updates, quite a different campaign from what it is today, but Edie seemed to like it and told me to make another one if I can. So I built The Big Show, based on one of my favorite aviation books ever. I have an original French edition from 1947. What blew me away was the feedback and support from the community. It turned out I wasn't the only guy who didn't just want to blow shit up, but learn and experience what my heroes went through in real life as closely as possible. Today, I have 12 campaigns released, with some others in the making and lots of plans. My lifelong dreams came true when I got to work with people like Bio or Paco, and it was an absolute honor to be the one who got to quote-unquote translate their experience into the language of DCS world, so mere mortals like us can also have a taste of what it was like. I consider myself the luckiest guy alive to be able to do something I love so much. I sometimes work 8 to 10 hours a day easily, and it doesn't feel like working. The job is 40% historian, 40% programmer, and about 20% random tasks like skinning, sound editing, graphic design, and all that stuff, and I enjoy every aspect. Okay, maybe not the bug hunting part, but all of this would be just a distant dream if it wasn't for Eagle Dynamics, who gave us this wonderful platform and opportunity, and of course the DCS community. You guys keep encouraging me with constructive feedback, sharing your experience through posts, screenshots, and videos, volunteering for voice acting, watching my videos, and of course purchasing these campaigns. And now I have 10,000 people who are interested in what I'm doing. That's unbelievable.
Inconceivable!
I can't possibly express how much this support means to me, and I'm always striving for perfection, to make better and better stuff that's more realistic, more immersive, more epic, so that I can repay you guys for all that you gave me. I can only hope I succeed. I'd also like to give a shout out to all the other campaign makers. It's a great bunch of guys helping me and each other with all kinds of tips and tricks, raising the bar and inspiring me to get better. So Bunyap, Baltic Dragon, Sedlo, Ground Pounder, Gambit, Apache, Badger, Sorrel, and the others, if you're watching this, thank you.
Alright, thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe.
So please whatever.
Hit the notification bell for more updates. My Mustang and Viper campaigns are coming along real nice, and soon I'll have some cool stuff to share. Alright, see ya.